Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're exploring Work Clean by Dan Charnas. We're going to be taking those organizational principles of professional kitchens and figuring out how to apply them to everyday life.
I love it.
We've got articles, we've got research, we've even got personal stories all about this concept of mise-en-place. You know that French term?
Right.
Everything in its place.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what's interesting is that it's more than just like, I don't know, a tidy workspace.
Absolutely. It's a philosophy.
It's a philosophy.
It's about achieving a state of calm amidst chaos. It's a way of thinking ahead, preparing meticulously, and creating efficient workflows that streamline actions. Chefs have been honing this system for centuries in high-pressure environments, and its principles are surprisingly adaptable to any field.
It's like having a secret weapon to conquer your to-do list. Tell me about this book, Work Clean. What makes it stand out to you?
Well, the thing about Work Clean is that Charnas, he's a journalist. He's not a chef. He spent years observing these kitchens and distilled the essence of mise-en-place into 10 distinct behaviors. And he highlights that these behaviors are more than just a system. They represent a philosophy, an ethical code even, for approaching work. Each behavior gets its own chapter in the book with real-life examples and exercises to help apply them.
I love a good story. I love some practical advice. So let's dive in. What's the first of these 10 behaviors?
Well, the foundation of mise-en-place is planning. Chefs devote more time to planning than they do to the actual cooking. They're experts at foreseeing needs and prepping thoroughly.
That makes sense. In a fast-paced restaurant environment, timing is everything. There's no room for error when hungry diners are waiting.
Precisely. Imagine the pressure of a dinner rush. There's no time for hesitation. Every movement must be deliberate and efficient.
So is it all spreadsheets and to-do lists? What can we learn from these master planners?
It's more of a mindset shift. They prioritize thinking ahead, anticipating roadblocks, even mapping out the physical layout of their workstations to be as efficient as possible.
Oh, it's like choreographing a dance of efficiency. No wonder they can move so gracefully in those tiny kitchens. I can see how that applies to any field.
Absolutely. Charnas tells the story of Chef Roby White, who even with years of experience still had to refine his actions and spatial awareness to truly grasp mise-en-place.
Interesting. So it's a continuous journey of refinement, even for seasoned professionals.
Yeah.
I imagine this meticulous arrangement saves time and reduces stress when it matters most, frees up mental energy to focus.
Exactly.
Now, behavior number 2 might appear less glamorous, but it is crucial. Cleaning as you go.
Clean it.
Not exactly the most thrilling part of any job. So what makes cleaning so important in mise-en-place?
Well, picture a busy kitchen during a rush, a whirlwind of motion and activity. If you don't continuously clean and reset, chaos reigns.
Spills. Clutter. It would be a recipe for disaster. Literally. Does Charnas have a specific example of this?
He tells the story of Chef Samantha Henderson. Initially, she struggled with cleaning. She saw it as a chore, but once she embraced it, her work quality and speed improved dramatically.
Sounds like a real aha moment. How did her perspective shift?
Well, she realized that cleaning wasn't just about hygiene. It was about creating an environment that supported concentration, precision, a sense of calm amidst the frenzy. It's almost meditative.
So wiping down the surfaces becomes a mindful practice. I can see how this translates beyond the culinary world. Think about your own workspace, whether physical or digital. How much time is wasted looking for items or battling clutter? Cleaning as you go creates a sense of order that allows for better focus and ultimately better results.
Right.
I'm starting to feel a little self-conscious about my own desk right now. Okay, let's move on to behavior number 3, which is all about finishing actions completely before starting new ones. Chefs call this the delivery mentality.
Interesting.
What's the logic behind this approach? Is it connected to the need for speed and efficiency in a kitchen?
It certainly is. In a restaurant, a dish that's 90% done is the same as being 0% done. It can't be served until it's completely ready. Chefs live by this principle.
Makes sense. It's about delivering a polished, perfect product, not a half-hearted attempt. Does Charnas illustrate this with any particular examples?
He shares the story of Chef Charlene Johnson Hadley. She constantly reminds herself to maintain focus and completely finish each task, even when faced with a mountain of ingredients to prepare. It's a valuable lesson in resisting the urge to multitask and ensuring everything is done to the highest standard.
In today's world, it's so easy to get sidetracked to jump between different tasks without fully completing any of them. How can we apply this delivery mentality to our own work?
It's about recognizing the hidden costs of starting and stopping. Each interruption breaks our flow and forces us to restart, wasting time and mental energy. By focusing on completing tasks fully, you create a sense of momentum and accomplishment.
I already feel a weight lifting just thinking about approaching my to-do list that way. No more unfinished projects haunting me. That brings us to behavior number 4, which might sound a little contradictory, starting and finish. Wait, how can we start everything and finish everything simultaneously? It seems impossible.
Haha, good point. Chefs aren't suggesting we do everything at once. It's about developing a nuanced approach to prioritizing.
Okay, tell me more about this nuanced approach.
Well, starting involves using a system to evaluate the urgency and importance of various actions. It's about taking those initial steps to set things in motion. Finishing, on the other hand, isn't solely about completion. It's about managing unfinished tasks in a way that minimizes loose ends and mental clutter.
Like tying up loose ends neatly so they don't cause problems later.
Yeah.
Are there any good examples of this in Work Clean?
Charnas gives the example of Chef Eden Grinchpan, who stresses the importance of completing even seemingly minor tasks, like labeling containers, just to maintain order and efficiency.
That's a good reminder that even the smallest actions can have a big impact on our overall workflow. Now, the 5th behavior builds upon this concept of starting and finishing. Chefs understand the value of what they call dual time.
Dual time.
This is some sort of culinary time travel.
Haha, not quite. It's about recognizing the difference between immersive time, where your hands and mind are fully engaged, and process time, which often involves starting tasks that can run in the background.
Okay, I'm starting to see the distinction. Could you give me an example of how this plays out in the kitchen?
Okay, imagine a chef prepping ingredients. They might start a task that requires time, like simmering a stock, while simultaneously chopping vegetables for another dish. They're leveraging both types of time to maximize efficiency.
Ah, multitasking with a purpose. Are there any specific examples from the book that illustrate this concept?
Charnas highlights Chef Angelo Sosa. He believes in prepping ahead to avoid rushing during service. He understands that effectively using process time unlocks future efficiency. It's about being strategic with your actions to set yourself up for success.
It's a game changer. Now, the 6th behavior shifts the focus to awareness and observation. Chefs cultivate what they call kitchen awareness.
Kitchen awareness.
Does this mean developing a 6th sense for detecting burnt food?
Haha, it's not supernatural, but it's definitely impressive. It's about maintaining laser focus on your own tasks while staying attuned to your surroundings and responding to cues from your colleagues. It's a delicate balancing act.
How do they manage to stay so attuned in such a demanding, fast-paced environment? I can only imagine how overwhelming that must be, especially for someone new to the kitchen.
Well, Charna shares the perspective of chef instructor Elizabeth Briggs, who teaches culinary students this very skill. She emphasizes the importance of filtering essential information from the constant barrage of sensory input in the kitchen.
Wow.
She stresses the use of attunement, which is selectively focusing on specific cues, like the head chef's voice, or certain sounds that signal significant events. And then there are triggers, verbal cues like behind or hot, that alert everyone to actions and movements.
It's like their own language for navigating the chaos. Makes you wonder how kitchen awareness translates to our world outside of hot stoves and sharp knives. We are bombarded with distractions, emails, notifications, the constant lure of social media. It's a challenge to stay focused these days.
Absolutely. And that's where the principles of kitchen awareness become so relevant. It's about consciously choosing what to pay attention to and what to tune out.
Creating a mental mise-en-place, if you will, to manage the flow of information and maintain focus.
Precisely.
It's about recognizing that our attention is a valuable resource, just like any other ingredient in a successful recipe.
Right.
Let's synthesize these principles into 10 actionable takeaways for our listener so they can start incorporating Work Clean into their own lives.
I think they'll appreciate that.
Okay, so first and foremost, mise-en-place prioritizes preparation. Chefs invest a significant amount of time in planning, which is a practice we can all adopt to reduce stress and boost our productivity.
Planning is key. It's about front-loading the thinking to streamline the execution.
And next, thoughtfully arranging our workspaces, both physical and digital. It's crucial.
It is. It's like designing a personalized map for maximum efficiency.
Ooh, I like that. Speaking of which, we talked about refining movements. How does that fit into this framework?
Well, chefs practice their movements until they become second nature. This frees up mental capacity for more complex tasks. It's about eliminating unnecessary actions and conserving energy.
So efficiency becomes like an ingrained habit. Interesting. Okay, now on to cleaning. Why is it so vital in the mise-en-place philosophy?
Well, continuous cleaning, as counterintuitive as it may sound, It actually enhances focus and prevents clutter from becoming a major obstacle.
A clean space promotes a clear mind. I'm seeing how all these behaviors interconnect. Now the delivery mentality, which is our fourth takeaway, stresses the importance of completing tasks fully before moving on to new ones.
No more unfinished projects weighing us down.
Exactly. But didn't we also discuss starting and finishing as a concept?
We did. It's about understanding that starting involves prioritizing actions, while finishing encompasses managing incomplete tasks in a way that minimizes loose ends and mental clutter.
So it's a balancing act between initiating and completing. How do chefs navigate this duality?
By embracing the concept of dual time, they understand the value of both immersive hands-on work and process time, which involves starting tasks that can run in the background.
Like a chef simmering a stock while simultaneously prepping other ingredients. It's a brilliant use of time.
Indeed.
Our sixth takeaway is kitchen awareness, the ability to stay focused while remaining attuned to your surroundings.
That's right. It's like having a panoramic view of your workspace, enabling you to respond effectively to any situation.
And that brings us to clear communication, our seventh takeaway. The call and callback method ensures that every message is conveyed, received, and acknowledged, minimizing errors and misunderstandings.
Absolutely no room for miscommunication in a fast-paced kitchen.
Exactly. And speaking of maximizing efficiency, we discussed how chefs strive to minimize meetings.
They do. They recognize that meetings can often be time-consuming and disrupt the natural flow of work.
So it's about choosing the most appropriate communication channels for each situation. Okay. What was our ninth takeaway?
Inspect and correct. Chefs constantly evaluate their work, seeking ways to refine and improve. They view feedback as a valuable tool for growth.
It's a continuous cycle of improvement. And finally, our 10th takeaway ties everything together, total utilization.
Absolutely. It's about minimizing waste in every form. Space movement, time energy, and even human resources.
Using each resource thoughtfully and purposefully. I'm starting to understand how these 10 behaviors create a holistic framework for approaching both our work and our lives.
That's the beauty of Work Clean. It provides practical wisdom that transcends the culinary world, empowering us to introduce order and efficiency into any endeavor.
I'm feeling inspired to declutter my workspace, streamline my to-do list, and approach my work with renewed intentionality.
Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts for our listener before we conclude this deep dive?
I think the most valuable lesson from Work Clean is that it's not about striving for some unattainable level of perfection. It's about developing a mindset of awareness, intentionality, and continual improvement.
Yeah.
It's a journey, not a destination. And as we've discovered, the principles of mise-en-place can be applied to virtually any profession or facet of life.
Right.
Whether you're a chef, an artist, a business owner, or a student, these behaviors can enhance your workflows, alleviate stress, and ultimately unlock your full potential.
Oh, I'm already envisioning like a more organized and productive version of myself.
Yeah.
What's one small step our listener can take today to begin incorporating the Work Clean philosophy into their life?
I would recommend thinking about their own daily mise-en-place ritual. What small adjustments can they make to their workspace, their routines, or communication style to cultivate a greater sense of calm and efficiency?
I love that.
Hmm.
It's about identifying those small opportunities to infuse our day with more intention and mindfulness.
Precisely.
Perhaps it's clearing your desk at the end of each day, or allocating dedicated time for planning, or simply being more deliberate in how you interact with colleagues. Small steps can lead to remarkable transformations. And as we've learned from these inspiring chefs, the benefits of embracing the Work Clean philosophy are well worth the effort.
It's about creating a work environment that nurtures focused creativity and a sense of tranquility amidst the inevitable chaos of life.
Well said. This has been an illuminating exploration of the world of mise-en-place. I'm feeling inspired and equipped to tackle my to-do list with renewed purpose. Thank you so much for guiding us through this deep dive and sharing your expertise.
The pleasure was all mine. And remember, working clean is a practice, not a pursuit of flawlessness. Embrace the process, experiment with these behaviors, and discover what works best for you.
Wise words. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Work Clean. We hope you've gained valuable insights that you can implement in your own lives. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.